He walked into the room with dignity, but left with the world watching because when a black CEO was mocked by a billionaire white family at the final meeting of a $900 million deal, no one expected him to stand, smile, and cancel the contract in front of cameras. But what happened next shocked the entire industry. Watch till the end. This one's a lesson in pride, power, and poetic justice. Subscribe to StoryFuel for more unbelievable, inspiring real-life moments that shake the world. Elijah Reed, self-made tech mogul, and the youngest black CEO on the Fortune 500 list, had spent the past decade building his company Nixascore. From a two-person garage startup into a revolutionary AI and logistics empire that disrupted the global supply chain industry and attracted billion-dollar investors worldwide, and today was supposed to mark the peak of his journey. The finalization of a $900 million acquisition deal with the Hargreaves Consortium, a century-old white-toned conglomerate known as much for its generational wealth as its veiled elitism. And despite months of legal, financial, and strategic meetings, Elijah had always felt a chill under their polished smiles, but he ignored the unease for the sake of legacy. For the thousands of employees depending on this merger, and for his mother, who worked 2 janitorial jobs to put him through school. After his father was murdered when Elijah was only 10, but as he arrived at the Hargreaves estate for the ceremonial signing, lavish events staged for media optics, complete with crystal chandeliers, violinists, and champagne flown in from France, he noticed subtle cues that something was off. The Hargreaves men were all dressed in tuxedos, while he'd been told it was business formal. He was seated apart from the primary table, and his assistant was barred from the VIP lounge, and still, he swallowed the slights, until the moment Theodore Hargreaves Sr., the silver-haired patriarch, who once joked that slavery was just unpaid internships, rose to give a toast and turned it into a comedy roast, publicly mocking Elijah's humble origins, his accent, his urban name, even implying his success was owed to diversity quotas, drawing laughter from the family's inner circle, and smirks from board members too cowardly to challenge him. While Elijah sat still, his mother's voice echoing in his ears, reminding him that silence isn't weakness, it's control. So when they handed him the pen to sign, he smiled, looked straight into the eyes of the billionaire's smirking grandson, and gently slid the papers back across the table, stood tall in front of the cameras, and declared, "Nexuscore will not be sold to men who confuse wealth with worth. This deal is off," sparking a flurry of gasps, camera flashes, and chaos as Elijah turned and walked out. His decision echoing across Wall Street by the next morning, when he released a video statement explaining that dignity and respect were non-negotiable terms no money could buy. And while the Hargreaves scrambled to salvage their reputation, Elijah received standing ovations at industry conferences, millions of new supporters online, and dozens of partnership offers from firms that respected his vision and values. But it didn't end there, because 2 weeks later, he signed a groundbreaking $1.2 billion deal with a Singaporean tech giant who gave him majority control. And, in a full-circle twist, Elijah used the deal's first proceeds to buy the Hargreaves failing logistics division at a fraction of its value and turned it into a nonprofit workforce accelerator for underserved black communities. While the old guard watched in stunned silence as the man they tried to humiliate rewrote the game, turned insult into innovation, and proved to the world that character still outweighs capital. And as his story went viral, inspiring millions, with headlines like "From Humiliation to Hero," Elijah's message was clear. Success isn't about acceptance from the powerful. It's about redefining power itself. And just as he stepped off the stage at a tech summit in South Africa, where he was honored with the Global Entrepreneur of the Year award, he looked into the camera and said, "To every young black dreamer out there, you don't have to prove yourself to the ones who doubt you. Just build so big they can't ignore you." Then smiled and added, "And don't forget to subscribe to StoryFuel, because stories like these, they're just getting started."